time to move on to the 10th chapter, almost the end of this Elliott waves forecasting theory, and it is about the time, let's say, to take a look at the contracting triangles. Now, I treated contracting triangles on many of my previous analyses here on the binaryoptions.net.au, but this time I would like to take a more in-depth look of this pattern, because this is one of the most common ways price chooses to consolidate. Now, I'm using the term consolidation and not correction, even though a contracting triangle is a corrective wave, or at least it is part of a corrective wave. It may be a fourth wave, and that in this case it may be a contracting triangle as a fourth wave, part of an impulsing move, or it may be part of a corrective wave, or it may be in itself just a corrective wave. So a lot of options for a contracting triangle. Now, a typical contracting triangle is formed out of 5 different waves, and they are being labeled A, B, C, D, and E. So let me just illustrate you a typical contracting triangle, and it should look like this and like this, and it should be formed out of 5 different waves of a lower degree, A, B, C, and they should be illustrated like this, of a lower degree. So this would be A, B, C, D, and E. And in this case, when price coming from the downside, if this is a continuation pattern, then the price should break to the upside, and this is a nice A, B, C, D, E as a contracting triangle, and this should be the A. Let's make it of a higher degree. B, C, D, and E. So A, B, C, D, E, and this contracting triangle looks like a continuation pattern, and if it breaks to the upside, is being considered a continuation pattern. But there is also a possibility that such a triangle to break into the other direction, and that would be, let me make like this, and that would look something like this. It would be the same pattern. Let me copy this trend line from here to here. So the same pattern, the same triangle, but in this time, if price is coming from the upside and consolidates in such a pattern, let's say price is coming like this into the triangle, and then you have wave A to the upside, so A, B, or A, B, C, D, and E, and then so A, B, C, D, E, and the A wave is considered to be as being part of a triangle, but it's coming from a higher level, and this is considered to be also a triangle with A. B, C, D, E, and after the E wave, we should mark the end of the wave of a higher degree, and price in such a case, price is coming from the upside, as you very well see, and is breaking to the upside, and is going to break to the upside again. In the first scenario here, in the first case, let me take a trend line and try to delimitate the examples here. Like this. So in the first case, the first pattern, the first contracting triangle is being called a continuation pattern. So we have a contracting triangle acting as a continuation pattern, meaning that price is coming from the downside, in this case, consolidates in a contracting triangle and breaks in the same direction that it entered initially. And in the second case here, the contracting triangle is called a reversal pattern. And this reversal pattern is due to the fact that price is coming from the upside, consolidates in a contracting triangle and breaks in the opposite direction that it originally entered the pattern. So this is a reversal pattern. Now legs of a triangle are being formed out of three small waves of a lower degree, and this should be labeled as 3 out of a lower degree. So it should be 3, 3, 3, 3, yet again 3, and the same is valid here. And that makes that the continuation pattern and also the reversal pattern being a contracting triangle, they are being in the form of 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. So 5 waves of a lower degree out of this sequence. So a typical contracting triangle is formed out of 5 different waves, A, B, C, D, and then it is falling into the category of 3s, because each and every one of these waves is being formed out of 3 waves of a lower degree, like being represented earlier here, or they are being part of a complex 3 waves correction pattern. In a contracting triangle, wave A, it is usually the longest one. And note the term usually, because this is not mandatory, but usually wave A is the longest one. And all the waves to follow should be smaller than the previous one. As you can see here, this is a classical interpretation, the classical image and picture that you will see when studying books with trading, with Elliott-Wave analysis, Elliott-Wave theory. A, B, C, D is the classical picture. As you can see, the longest wave is the A wave, and all the waves to follow should be smaller than the previous one. Waves of a contracting triangle typically are traveling between the 2 trend lines of the triangle, the upper trend line and the downward trend. This is the upper trend line and the downward trend, the upper and the down. Usually these trend lines are going in the opposite direction, and eventually they will meet at some specific point in time. After the contracting triangle completes, it is usually followed by a so-called thrust. It is being called a thrust, and this is a measure move, and the measure move is 75% of wave A. So what you need to do when you're looking at a contracting triangle is to measure the wave A, measure 75% of it, and put it on top of the moment of break. So look for 75% when the price is breaking to the upside in this case, and also to the upside in this case. And this should be the thrust of the triangle, basically 75% of the widest segment of the triangle, typical wave A. Being a continuation pattern, most of the times, one way to interpret contracting triangles after they are broken is to measure the entire length of wave A in the triangle and project the distance to the breaking point, and that would be also a measure move. So take the whole wave A, project it to the upside in the case of at the moment of break, and that would be your measure move for the contracting triangle. Let's move on with the contracting triangles on the next recording, please.